Welcome to Reach the World ASAP. My name is Pastor Scott Griswold, working with ASAP Ministries and you to share God's love in a hurting and dying world. And we have a crisis worth talking about and acting on today. We just received an email from Myanmar telling us about the problems with the flooding and how we can help. Perhaps you've already seen the pictures of flooding on the news. It's written to our director, Julia O'Carey, and it says, "Greetings from Yangon Attached District. You might notice the floods are destroying most regions of our country, including the Rakhine state in which ASAP has been helping. We have helped some to that area, and they will definitely need food and supplies for a few months to survive. So we'd like to appeal to ASAP for emergency funds for food. ASAP-sponsored church planters and their house churches are affected. The pastors and church planters are working together for evacuation and sharing food supplies to the members and community around." They attach pictures and a proposal pleading for help. So how bad is the situation? Well, the news says that more than 1 million people have been affected. That's a lot. At least 100 have been killed, especially in the Irrawaddy Delta region where the rivers flow into the ocean. It's so painful because this is exactly where the great tsunami destroyed so terribly in 2004. And then just 4 years later, the 2008 cyclone Nargis killed thousands. The numbers were in 100,000, but not just in the Delta area. But it's not just in the Delta this time. 12 of the 14 states have been flooded. At the time of the regular monsoon rains, last week, Cyclone Gomen struck the country, causing the worst floodings in decades. 1.2 million acres of rice paddies have been destroyed. They hope to be able to replant maybe 700,000 of those, but a lot cannot. The whole country is flooding. So what's happening? I'm excited to say that your church is over there actively doing whatever they can, and they want to do more. In the past, I've seen them rise amazingly to the needs of the tsunami and Cyclone Nargis. I was living in Southeast Asia at that time, and Seventh-day Adventists from countries all over pulled their money together and sent it in. That was the first time that ASAP Ministries responded to the needs of Myanmar, leading to the work we now have with 30 workers or more stationed there. Church members traveled wherever they could to help. ASAP, ADRA Myanmar, and the Myanmar Union Mission bought water and bags of rice to keep the people alive. They purchased mosquito nets and medicines to save more lives. And they provided blankets and clothing to those who were so cold because the monsoon rains just kept pouring down even after the floods. They helped people rebuild their houses and gave them seeds to replant their rice fields. After the tsunami, ADRA even built bridges in the areas that had flooded, and during Cyclone Nargis, some people were saved from drowning by crawling on top of those bridges. All of this shows me God's love in the midst of a world racked by years of sin and brokenness. But there's a story that illustrates to me God's tender care for each individual caught in this pain. What I'm about to tell you, God does not do for everyone at this moment of history, but it helps me know that He will make all the wrongs right in His own way and time. In 2008, a 12-year-old boy named Tet Ang Cha was paddling around in a boat with his parents and 2 younger sisters. They would stop and cut firewood and load it into the boat. Despite the hard work, they were having fun since they were all together. Suddenly, about 4 in the afternoon, the sky clouded over and became very dark. The lightning flashed and Tet raced to the boat, followed by his family. They jumped in just as a huge wave hit the boat and knocked them all out into the water. Tet couldn't see his father. He couldn't see his sisters anywhere. He grabbed his mother's hand, but couldn't hold on as another wave hit them and separated them. "Mother, mother, where are you?" he cried. There was no answer. Nobody could hear him over the noise. No one except the living God that he knew about. "Father, please save me," he cried out. And then, in his own words, he later wrote this: "Suddenly I heard a strange voice, like a mighty wind calling to me, and all my hairs stood up, and I was so scared. Finally, I realized that the wind had carried me away. In a standing position, I was turned round and around by the wind. At once I felt so warm and so secure in the wind, and my fear had gone too. Very soon I fell deeply asleep. I totally forgot about everything." Where was he? When he woke up, he was at the village Tent Pankon. The villagers said, "Who are you? Where are you from?" He told them, "I'm from Panangon village." "How did you get here all alone?" He answered, "The wind carried me." What could they say? There was no other explanation. The village was a 3-hour boat ride away. God had truly picked him up and set him gently where somebody could help. They put him in a boat and took him home. But what would they find? Was anything left? Was anyone left? Young Tet found his father crying. His mother and 2 younger sisters had been killed, and he assumed that his son Tet had drowned as well. Now, when he saw his boy, tears flowed out just the same, even though he was so excited. Together they cried and cried, but they were alive. Soon they had to leave that village because there was no food, no drinking water available. They headed to the Irrawaddy Adventist Seminary, a place that many others were finding safety in. When the principal saw Tet, he immediately offered him a chance to study. Poor Tet was too overwhelmed to think about school. He shook his head. No. But as he saw the children filing by in their beautiful uniforms carrying special books, he wanted some too. "Sorry," said the principal, "those are only for students." So Tet decided to go to school after all. For the last 7 years, he has been building a solid future. Perhaps even now he's out there somewhere helping others who are struggling in the present flood. Another email just came in as I was preparing this. From Upper Myanmar, in a place called Hakka, the district pastor's wife wrote that the village leaders made everyone leave after 140 of the 1,000 houses were destroyed. She said this: "Though most of the families left their houses, there is little space for them to pitch tents, and some of the families do not know where to run for their lives because the road to other places are already destroyed by the rain. Transportation is cut off. Presently, many people have no food to eat as 1 bag of rice is extremely expensive. Our district leader, Pastor Punkar, has only 2 bags of rice, and he's already shared 1 with the neighbors. There is no supply of food for them. Please pray for them. They are in need of help." They've shared with us that over 100 Seventh-day Adventist families are severely affected, and there are many more that they can't yet contact. So, what should we do? Well, you can follow the progress of what's happening by looking at Facebook under ADRA Myanmar. But together, we can help in a big way. The water is not going to come up to our necks tonight. We will sleep in peace with a roof over our heads. Clean water and cereal will be waiting in the morning. But tonight, let's give all we can to help our church reach out with Christ's love. 100% of what you give will be passed on to Myanmar Union Mission for them to buy supplies and distribute them. Until Jesus comes again, there will be floods. Luke says that people will be afraid for the roaring of the waters. So let's respond with a flood of kindness and show the world our mighty God's love. Together, let's reach the world ASAP.